Colorado and the Executive Director of the Center for Integrated Arts Education. CIAE is a research-based, grant-funded collaboration promoting arts education and arts integration into the curriculum of Colorado public schools. Her current research is focused on questions about art and literacy teaching practices, as well as arts curriculum development. Dr. Stewart has a BA in elementary education and an MA in the visual arts, both from UNC, as well as a PhD in educational leadership from the Union Institute University. Dr. Stewart is the recipient of the 2010 National Art Education Association Higher Education Award for the Pacific region, so she is eminently qualified to speak to us today as we gather to celebrate scholastic arts here at the Denver Art Museum. Please welcome Dr. Connie Stewart.
It is a pleasure and an honor and a little bit intimidating to talk to you all today. So I'm excited for the opportunity and will do my best. I'm going to talk a little bit about my own story. I'm going to talk about questions. And I'm going to talk about the role of art education in Colorado today. My story starts when I was a child, but I certainly wasn't one of these kids that we just saw in the Scholastics video that could draw incredibly after 2 months of instruction. In fact, my mother has apologized to me repeatedly that she didn't know I was an artist. I went, she feels bad, how do we not know? And I thought, well, I wasn't that good. You know, it wasn't really hard not to know. I went to an elementary school that didn't have any of the specials, so I didn't have training in art, music, or special opportunities in physical education. By the time we moved to Colorado, I did go to a school that had some of those opportunities, but I felt like I was behind, and so I took other courses. I didn't want to be embarrassed by my skills. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s, and at that point I was married. I had my BA in Ed, but I wasn't teaching because I had 4 small children. So I decided to do daycare. Hardest job ever. I don't know if anybody's done that. One day I walked out into the kitchen and the door in between my kitchen and my garage was open. And I started screaming at these little preschoolers that were in my care. Where's the baby? I can't find the baby. The baby's gonna crawl in the garage and drink the antifreeze. You know, where's the baby? You've got to keep that door closed. And my son, who's a lawyer and was a facts-only guy at 4 years old, looked up at me and said, "Mom, you're holding the baby." I thought, I think it's time I get out of the house and move. So I started taking art classes. And I took them just to get a little bit of a break. I thought maybe I could develop a few skills. But what I found was a place to ask questions, and questions that I hadn't been able to ask any other place. What my mother does remember about my childhood is I was always asking, "'cause why, 'cause why, 'cause why," and I was driving her crazy. I remember being bored. I always wanted more, and I never quite knew what that was. Neither of us knew that skills of inquiry are as important and need to be coupled with the skills of drawing representationally or sculpting representationally to really be an artist. Oh, here's the thing. We are looking at a piece that was just recently up in the Denver Art Museum. It's by Mark Brandenburg. And if anybody saw that show, I think you would have come away going, wow, that guy has skill. How do you do that with graphite? Here's another piece that's going to be up in the Denver Art Museum, and it's going to be part of the show that is called Blink, Light, Sound, and Moving Image. You may look at this and think, what was he thinking? 'Cause why? In the art classroom, the ability to observe, to replicate, and to ask why and what if are intertwined. You're looking at Sandy Scoglin's piece in the Denver Art Museum that's also featured in the Creativity Resource for Teachers that Christoph just mentioned, showing how students can be taught how to ask questions about contemporary art or other art pieces that are in the museum, and to create stories. arts are supposed to capture beauty. I agree with that. And we're looking at a piece that may cause you to think, well, why not? Or maybe why? And another piece from the Scholastic Show. Both of these images from the 2010 Scholastic's Art and Writing Awards competition recognize the work of artists in grades 7 through 12. And I think we've already been given this information, but I'll repeat it. The Colorado programs have been in existence for 61 years. For the past 3 years, Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design has been the host. And throughout its history in Colorado, the Colorado Art Education Association has been the 501c3 affiliate for Scholastics. The following artworks that I'm going to show you in this presentation were sent to UNC as applications for our scholarship that we give to Scholastics. Some of the images received scholarship money, some of the images received prizes here at Scholastics, and others did not. So you're going to see some of the work that was recognized and others that wasn't. There were 3,900 submissions in the contest. 550 artworks and portfolios won statewide recognition, and 120 will advance to the national level. In 2009, Olivia Goody, who's a professor at the School of Art and Design at the University of Illinois in Chicago, won the prestigious National Art Education Association's Lowenfeld Award. She accepted that recognition with a speech that she entitled Art Education for a Democratic Life. I look at that speech and I could title it, Why Asking 'Cause Why is Important to the Education of Our Students. She says we have the power to ask questions of the world, to structure inquiries, and the responsibility for pursuing those investigations, for shaping answers, however incomplete. According to Goody, art education provides a child a connection between self, process, and product. A skilled interplay between materials and self has resulted in some of the award-winning pieces that you're going to see downstairs. Strong experiences in the art provide self-agency and the belief that what I do can shape the world. And I think you'll be able to see these better in the show. Let's see. Through the arts, students see the interconnectedness of human lives and learn to believe that what they do makes a difference. Through art making, a student learns how to tell their own story, and through telling it, reflecting on it, expressing it, he or she learns to place their story within their own cultural context and put their own context within the context of others. And in the words of Goody again, they can identify internal multiplicity, contradictions, incompleteness, accepting the complex and always shifting nature of self. Students learn to see themselves as they interact with their environment through metaphor and through humor. It's one of my favorites, entitled Mom Knows All. I love that saying. As a student engages with the cuz-whys of the world, they play with materials, but they also ask the harder questions. And in case you can't read this, this is entitled Chemo Nights. And this is entitled Together Forever. They learn to see through the eyes of others. And this is called Into the Eyes of Others. And they maybe start to understand their own complexities. They look at different viewpoints. And in the words of Goody again, they make and experience art that engages the contradictions, ambiguities,